In the opening scene, we see a guy named Sven who wakes up after having a vision of his wife Paula. He checks the time and realizes that he has overslept. Worried, he rushes to wake up his little daughter Charlie. Since the girl has a hearing disability, he communicates with her in sign language until she puts on her hearing aid. The two then rush to a community screening in order to watch the astronauts returning to Earth. It turns out to be a big day for them because Charlie's mother, who is a part of the space crew, is returning home after a long time. Later, while watching the live feed on screen, the father and daughter are concerned about why the parachute hasn't yet deployed in the space shuttle. Paula's co-pilot Hattie yells at her, instructing her to press the parachute deployment button, but she appears to be in a state of trance. She comes back to her senses at the last minute and presses the button. Fortunately, they make a safe landing in the middle of the Atacama Desert in Chile. There, they are welcomed by their fellow team members and Benicia Mudhi, an Indian billionaire and philanthropist who funded the mission. Benicia is a role model for Charlie, as she has helped many people overcome poverty. Later that night, Paula calls her husband and tells him that something weird has happened in space. But before she reveals the secret, she senses that someone is eavesdropping on the conversation, so she hangs up the call. The next day, Sven and Charlie go to the airport to receive Paula. There, they meet Hattie's wife Mira and her two sons, who are also there to receive their father. A short while later, they learn that the flight has been delayed and they must wait for some more time. But soon, it is announced that Paula's flight has gone missing over the Atlantic, hinting at a possible crash. This announcement causes panic among the relatives of the passengers, ensuing utter chaos. Eventually, they are all provided with separate hotel rooms to stay until the actual matter is divulged. Sven talks to the kids and gives them hope that their parents will be fine. He somehow manages to hold his emotions in front of the children. However, he soon enters the washroom and breaks down in tears, realizing that he might not see his wife ever again. Afterwards, Sven puts his daughter to sleep and goes to the balcony for some air. During this time, he recalls a past memory in which he and Paula hung out with Hattie and Mira. Amidst their joyful conversation, Sven teased his wife, saying that she always loses to their daughter while playing the Fox and Hare board game, despite having such a high IQ. You should be humiliating her, honey. The following morning, all the adult family members are summoned into a conference room. Here, the authorities reveal that they have found wreckage in the Atlantic Sea, confirming the plane crash. This revelation devastates the family members, breaking them down in tears. Before Sven can return back to his daughter, he is taken to a private room where a couple of federal agents interrogate him. They ask if he sensed something amiss when he last talked to his wife on the phone. Sven, who is already very sad, answers in the negative and walks away. He and Charlie then head to their car to drive back home. Sven tries to pay the parking charge via his credit card, but it gets declined. This leaves him tense, as he doesn't have any cash in his wallet. Luckily, he is approached by Benicia's assistant Nora, who helps him pay the bill. She also hands Charlie a box, saying that it's from Benicia. Inside the box, there is a quote about death being a new beginning, but Sven translates it as, "Everything will be fine for Charlie." Upon arriving at home, Sven is disheartened to see preparations they had made to welcome Paula. Now that she is gone, he disposes of all of them into the trash bin. Later, as Sven checks his phone, he finds a voicemail from Paula before boarding the plane. In the voicemail, she mentions that they need to celebrate their 10th anniversary on St. Nicholas Day, claiming it to be the day they met. Hearing this, he immediately calls Mira and asks if Hattie also sounded strange during the call. Mira affirms, but she believes that it was a consequence of recently coming back from space. When Sven tells her about the voicemail, Mira asks him to be grateful as he got to hear his wife's voice one last time. However, he points out the strange thing: they did not meet on St. Nicholas Day. Following this, Sven watches the TV clip and realizes the alleged live telecast has a 90-minute delay. He instantly calls Paula's boss, Rainer, but he does not have anything to say, which raises suspicion in Sven's mind. The next morning, Sven awakens to the TV sound, which is featuring the news about the missing passengers. He rushes to the living room, but it's too late, as Charlie has already heard the news. Devastated, she runs back to her room in tears. Later that day, some officials visit Sven and inform him about a voice recording which they retrieved from the air traffic control. In the recording, Paula is heard sending a message to Sven, saying that she loves him. The officials ask him about what his wife was doing in the plane's cockpit, but a confused Sven claims to have no knowledge about this. Just then, Charlie's grandparents arrive, and the officials interrogate them as well, but receive no clues. The scene then flashes back to 3 months earlier, showing Paula and Hattie getting along well with the other astronauts on board. Paula used to dedicate extra time to the communication system, as she had promised her daughter to talk to her every day. She'd even set up a radio at home before departing. However, her efforts were thwarted as the spaceship traveled to a dead zone, a region where communication with Earth is impossible. But one day, Paula was startled to hear a child's voice voice during this communication blackout and believed it to be her daughter's. She immediately noted down the coordinates of the signal on her arm and tried the communication, but the signal immediately stopped. After that, she woke up Hattie and confided everything to him. She intended to alert the other astronauts, but Hattie forbade her from doing so. He emphasized that the government would take over the mission, preventing them from delving deeper into the matter. As a result, the two decided to team up and work privately on figuring out the signal's source. Eventually, Hattie managed to uncover a shocking revelation. The voice did not originate from Earth, but from outer space. As they continued working on their study, Paula started to have a vision of a bug moving within her hand. Believing it to be a consequence of her overwork, she opted to take some rest. The next day, after a while of deliberation, Paula decided to tell the other astronauts about the mysterious signal. But as she proceeded to play the recording, the cassette turned out to be completely empty. For a moment, the fellow astronauts believed that she had gone insane. Luckily, Hattie covered for her, claiming it to just be a prank. Just an astronaut space prank. After the astronauts left, Paula tried to remind Hattie about how they worked on the communication signal, but the latter did not know what she was talking about. From that point onwards, Paula began to see things even more often, which made her realize that she was gradually losing her mind. At one point, she even stabbed the moving bug within her wrist, causing her to bleed. Another flashback depicts Paula and Hattie, who had hung out with their partners a few days before their departure to space. Unbeknownst to any of them, Paula used to take a drug, which was probably the cause of her hallucinations. Good thing the space program doesn't test their astronauts for drugs. Amidst their joyful time together, Paula suddenly suffered from an episode, causing her to end up in the hospital. After she recovered, the concerned Sven tried to convince her not to go on the mission. However, she remained resolute in her decision, asserting that her life would become meaningless if she did not go. She told him that she had important reasons for undertaking this mission, such as finding a permanent solution to enable their daughter to hear without digital or mechanical assistance, and she was very confident that she would find that in space. In the present, a squad of federal agents storm into Sven's house and start investigating the place. Turns out that they suspect Paula's involvement in crashing the plane, so they are here to search for any evidence regarding this. Later in the evening, Sven goes to meet Mira to discuss their ongoing predicament. As their conversation unfolds, Mira tells him that Paula was cleared for the mission, despite having psychotropic substances in her system. Oh, shocked, Sven returns home and checks his wife's room to find antidepressant pills. This makes him realize that she was lying to him the entire time and that she was mentally unwell. A few days later, a breaking news spreads in the entire nation, accusing Paula and Hattie for deliberately causing the plane crash. As a result, several reporters and the family members from the plane crash gather at Sven's doorstep demanding answers. They eventually get aggressive and even throw stones at the house. Not stones. Upon learning of this, Nora arrives at the scene and attempts to calm down the situation. However, the grieving family members do not hesitate to attack her as well. Seeing this, Sven hurriedly walks out and takes her inside the house. He lets her clean herself up and escorts her back to her car to drive away. Later that evening, Sven is sitting alone when he receives a call from Rainer. He claims to have kept a secret from him, but before he can disclose it, someone rings the doorbell, prompting him to hang up the call. Sven desperately tries to call back, but he's unable to reach Rainer. Despite this, he remains undeterred and resorts to go and meet him in person. Sven drops Charlie off at Mira's place for safety before driving towards Rainer's place. Soon after, he reaches there, but he does not find Rainer. He looks around the house and finds a hidden confidential file with his name labeled on it. Upon going through it, he immediately drives back to Mira's house to share his findings. He excitedly tells her that there is something incredible that Paula and Hattie found, and that his wife wasn't insane. He also tries to share this news with Charlie, but she's nowhere to be found. This sets him in a panic, so he rushes outside to look for her. He soon notices a car standing in the nearby road. Upon approaching the vehicle, Sven recognizes the driver as the same person who attacked Nora earlier. Once more, the scene cuts to the flashback. Paula, who's in a state of panic, contacted Benicia to confess that she's experiencing hallucinations and seeing things. Furthermore, she admitted that she lied about her health just to be a part of the mission. In response, Benicia encouraged her to face the problems and maintain her focus on the mission. Heeding to her advice, she started living with her visions without letting them affect her. But as the time passed by, Paula realized that she wasn't hallucinating and that the signal she received the other day was real. In addition, she caught Hattie switching the cassettes, preventing her from backing up her claims. Now that she uncovered his ill intention, she began to stay away from him. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.